Meanwhile, President Trump has threatened China with an extra tariff of 50% on goods imported into the U.S. if it does not withdraw a countermeasure it announced on Friday. In a post on his social media platform, Truth Social, the U.S. president said he will introduce the extra tariff unless China withdraws its own 34% counter-tariff on American goods, which it announced on Friday. Trump originally imposed a tax of 34% on Chinese imports last Wednesday as he announced tariffs on dozens of U.S. trading partners. If he does impose the additional 50%, U.S. companies will pay a total rate of 104% on Chinese imports. Let's talk about these tariffs. Nnaemeka Obiareri, investment banking executive, joins me now to discuss this. Thank you for giving us your time. 50% tariff on China if it does not withdraw its 34% retaliatory tariff. Is this not a case of beating a child and telling him not to cry?
No, it's actually, we've said there is a tariff war going on. And what people must understand is very simple. It is a customer that is king in such kind of wars. We need to look at it contextually. I've read articles, people lampooning Trump, trying to explain why there is free trade and why he cannot wake up to slam tariff on China and other people. Now look at the numbers. Last year alone, the U.S. suffered trade deficit of almost over 67% against the Chinese. Total U.S. imports from China was about $469 billion. Total U.S. exports into China was about $169 billion. You could see the imbalance. Of course, the U.S. is the biggest market, irrespective of how anybody may feel. It's a $20 trillion market. China is about $10 trillion. China, Europe consumption put together is not even as big as that of the U.S. That is how massive the U.S. market is. And that is how massive everybody who wants to play will want to enjoy that market. Now, what is this tariff all about? The nations who are playing these games are nations that are manufacturing hubs, nations that are productive. Countries like Nigeria may not be in the right frame of mind or structure to participate in this kind of fight, because we practically produce nothing. We're a wholly import-dependent economy. Donald Trump is simply saying, for those who do not understand, I know if time will permit me, I'll break it down. There are 4 factors of production: human capital, land, equipment and machinery, and the funding, which is capital. The most critical of all these 4 factors of production is the human capital, because the human mind that can conceptualize to produce the machineries, the robotics, the AIs, the equipments. The other most important factor is the earth. There is nothing that is manufactured today, from the aircraft to the telephone that we are using, even to the TV gadgets, that are not extracted from materials from the earth, beneath the earth or surface of the earth, for agri-home manufacturing. Trump is saying there's nothing, it's not everything that America possesses. America is not endowed with all natural resources. He is simply saying, as a country, for any country to survive, the country must be able to a certain degree of, to a certain extent, be self-sufficient.
Right.
Trump is simply saying, there are things we can produce in our country that manufacturers are shipping the jobs to China, to Mexico, because there are factors there of production that are cheaper. Human capital. And Trump is saying, if we continue to ship these jobs out, we will continue to suffer trade imbalance. We will continue to suffer trade deficit. We will continue to lose jobs. Let us put in place measures that will bring these companies back home, so that we will have productivity for those things that we can produce competitively at home.
All right, just quickly, I'm told we have less than a minute to conclude this conversation. What is the implication of this tariff on Nigeria's economy, especially for small businesses?
The implication is very simple. I will advise the federal government, because we don't even have any trade or sustainable manufacturing policy. Very simple. Those things that will require to bring into the year that will help us to catalyze production, equipment, machineries, tractors, personal equipment. If we are smart, we should put 0 tariff on them. Those things that we can competitively produce here with all the factors of production in place, we can put tariff on them. But unfortunately, we are not even at the industrial stage in this country. And it's very unfortunate that we don't even have any holistic plan on how we can industrialize Nigeria and make Nigeria a manufacturing and productive hub. So very simple. If I am Mr. President or those in charge of trade and investment in Nigeria, every equipment, every machinery, every processing plant required to catalyze production here should have zero tariffs. That is the only way we can be able to compete with the rest of the world.
Nnaemeka, thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.